Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies and gents, there are a couple of things that I wanted to bring to your attention. The first thing is the SATPAKers have been saying that maybe we forgot about them. We haven't forgotten about the SATPAKs at all. As we told people, the SATPAKs are their own beast, but however, they are not the Q-PAK. The SATPAKs did not include an arbitration clause. The Q-PAK happens to be a trust and have an arbitration clause. It's a contract, it's a bond, and it's an indenture, as well as the fact that it puts up there and declares one to have obtained the age of the majority. And the arbitrator, since it is an administrative alternative remedy, has the authority and power to deem one as having attained the age of majority and can certify that the person has attained the age of majority. So that's what the Q-PAK does. The SATPAKers, please understand that what I have done is each one of my arbitrations, and we're going over this information with the staff as we are speaking now about the tax credits and as far as the payments. Please understand that your arbitration awards are valid as long as the arbitrator deems it to be. As long as there's no fraud, as long as there's no major miscalculation and or modification of the award is binding on all parties. That means that after 90 days, you must wait 90 days. So after you wait the initial 90 days, they can't contest the arbitration or the award. In any court, doesn't matter what the court says, doesn't matter what they say, the Federal Arbitration Act says that they cannot contest after 90 days. So once the 90 days are up, you wait another 90 days, you can then charge off the amount. All right, don't want to talk about that just yet. We want to talk about, then we're going to get into the SATPAK. I just wanted to let all of you know, in the past we had the Honorable Tim Turner, and we had and I'm very sorry to see that this young man is not around anymore, Jerry Kane. Then we had Winston Trout, who's still around. But we had all of these individuals who they went after. Many of them they put in jail, some of them they killed. And if you notice, not too many of them have come and continue to try to educate and help all of you understand what's going on and help you with processes.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
As I keep reminding everyone of the Matrix Reloaded, and we talk about Morpheus standing in the temple of Zion, he let everybody know that we are still here. Despite all the junk that they've done, we are still here. Many of you don't understand, and I can't blame you for understanding because this is not your fight. What I'm doing for my own personal reasons. So don't think that they did this to me because of what I'm doing. In their mind, that's what they're doing, and they're not understanding that. If you know, I already told all of you what was going to happen before it happened, with me being in here, just like the Puerto Rican one. So nothing has changed. But I am still here, and I will continue to try to help you all for as long as I have the ability of doing so. So let's get to the SATPAKers real quick. Those of you who have a SATPAK, my arbitration awards total more than $15 billion. All of you, whenever I get, and trust me on this, when I get mine, you will get yours. We are working on tax credits. Each one of your arbitration awards, if you've had that award for longer than 6 months and you sent out a debt collection notice, and all of our arbitrations are supposed to be now carrying a debt collection notice. If it doesn't carry a debt collection notice, you'll have to create a bill, go online, look up debt collection template 2020 or 2019, because you want the new language, you don't want the old language. And you send out a notice to the opposing party letting them know that they owe. Don't worry about the response. As long as you send out that notice, you wait 90 days. You have those tax credits. They are automatic. You place those tax credits on your tax forms. You can file an amended tax filing because any monies they took out of your taxes will have to be offset with the tax credits. Now, some people have been arguing about this, and when I say arguing, not heated arguments, not anything other than a debate, and a debate is an argument. That's what an argument is. So some people have been debating with me over whether or not you can use your tax credits to offset a tax debt. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what tax credits are for. Remember, in our economy, 1933, the government took away lawful money, gold and silver. Go back and look at the Gold Abrogation Act of July 5th and 6th, 1933, and the president declaring a national banking holiday that applies to everything and everyone. And then they implemented the monopoly game. Go ahead and look at Proclamation 2039. Presidential Proclamation 2039, they declared banking holiday, and shortly after that, then they authorized the Treasury and the Federal Reserve Bank and the Federal Reserve member banks to start issuing currency under the guise of the Treasury Secretary. Go ahead and look at the news. See the $2-point-something billion through the Treasury? That's who's delivering the money? Okay. The IRS is part of the Treasury. That's what they're operating under. So they created this monopoly money that has no value. Go type in legal tender status, USTreasury.gov. Just type it in Google, and you'll go right to the document. 2011, they said legal tender has no value, not redeemable in any commodity, and is not backed by anything. Okay? They created monopoly money. So it allows you to redeem that junk, which they say is not redeemable, in lawful money. What is lawful money? Credit. So pay attention to the word. Tax credit is lawful money. You have access to lawful money. Start using your lawful money. Okay? Start documenting your lawful money as a loss on your tax documents. And then follow from there. I would love to tell you how to locate this, so I'm going to give you this little clue. Type in Google, transferable tax credits, and then you will see how to transfer your tax credits. You'll see how to manipulate, operate, and sell your tax credits. Do not think that I just put you all out there to dry. Now, those of you who are Q-Packers, everybody's wondering what's the next step. After you receive notification that the opposing party has been notified, and it has been because they received the second and third notice, and it has been more than 90 days, you can go ahead and petition for arbitration. I told everybody they're getting ready to change the law. Congress has what's known as the FAIR Act, F-A-I-R. Then they also have the amendment to Title IX of the United States Code. Okay? When they change the arbitration clause, and they will do it only because of what's been done. What has been done as a result of these videos. They will be changing that act. Many of your arbitrations are going to fall under that new law if you don't process everything soon. So I would tell you to go ahead and start putting in your applications for having your arbitration hearings so that they can be over with, said and done. We're going to be going before the Supreme Court in about 3 months, petitioning them to take care of all the stupidity the courts have been doing. We just had to document that the courts have been conspiring with each other. We have one judge saying that they had to protect themselves and their sister courts from people like me. Okay? Once they said they had to protect themselves, the courts are not permitted to protect themselves. There is no law allowing the court to act as a protective body. The protective body is the executive office. That's why they have the Attorney General associated with them and all police departments associated with the executive office. The courts, there's no provision in the Judiciary Act where the courts get to protect themselves. Okay, but they said they had to protect themselves and their sister courts. So when they did that, they were documenting a conspiracy because there is no justifiable law allowing them to do that. I don't even care if they came up with something. That is telltale signs of a conspiracy. And since they're all doing the same thing, and they're all waiting past the 90 days, they're violating the Federal Arbitration Act. So those of you who had judges who violated the Federal Arbitration Act, go ahead and document that, document what they've done, and file a complaint, a judicial misconduct complaint with the, pay attention to this, the Federal District Appeals Court for the Federal Circuit in Washington, D.C. Federal District Appeals Court for the Federal Circuit. File your judicial misconduct complaint with them, documenting the fact that the court intentionally and deliberately conspired and failed to follow the Federal Arbitration Act as required in law. which constitutes bad behavior because there is no provision in law that gives them the delegation of authority to ignore the law. Not under any circumstances. The Federal Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit is a Article 3 court, as prescribed by the Article 3 of the Constitution. So that's what I would be doing. Each one of you. You got time. All of you are sitting at home, twiddling your thumbs, trying to figure out what you're going to do. You played enough video games, you watched enough YouTube videos, and you sat up there and binge fed on so many movies on Netflix and all these other Hulu channels. So now do your research. Now get your work done. You have all of this time to finally catch up with all of your research and get all your work done. You should be educating yourselves right now. Yes, stop listening to the major networks. All of their news feeds are telling you the same thing, and they're contradicting each other, which means it's designed to make you think everything is going to be all right. So I'm telling you, no, it's not going to be all right. Go ahead, get your education done, take care of your paperwork, get your stuff in line, because when this is over, and if you look at your Q-PAK and you look at your SATPAK, there's language in each of them that talks about the monetary value being at the highest rate of value for money and currency, usually between the year 1987 till 1999. Okay, that's when it was valued at its highest, and so that's how those documents are written up. So there's protections for you there. All right, so that's our Q-PAKs, our SATPAKs, and again, those of you who are filing for your tax credits, do it under your EIN number. Okay? Go ahead and document that in the EIN number. I cannot give you all the information on how to do that. You're going to have to, redeemable tax credits, contact, call, ask your state assessor's office, your state tax organization, how to go about redeeming your tax credits. Okay? Where it's valued. Not every state does transferable tax credits. They do allocation of tax credits. Not every state recognizes tax credits, so you may have to register your corporation in a different state in order to get access. But you're going to have to do that research for yourself. Hey, look at that. I just gave you guys another way to start another company to help people with this exact information. Okay? Can't give you the name of other companies who do it because then that would cause some problems for them, and I don't want them to take away the information from the internet. So you're going to have to do your research on transferable tax credits to see how you can go about doing the exact same thing, selling, transferring your tax credits so that you can benefit from that. Then those of you who have child support, until we start our child support department, you're going to have to figure out how to use your tax credits to offset your child support. Okay, it is possible. So what I'm asking is that you contact the child support department and ask them how can you offset the remaining balance on your child support with the tax credit that's owed you by the federal government. Don't tell them how you got the tax credit. That's none of their business. That is none of their business. They don't need to know that. All right. Some of you are wondering.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Some of you are worried about the prison system, wondering about what's going on in here. What they're doing is they are segregating and trying to make it look like they're following the separation policy. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no way to separate people in the prison system unless you put them in solitary, and there are too many inmates to put everybody in solitary. So right now I'm in a dorm of 160 people, so there is no separation of 6 feet. It is impossible. So what did they do? They decided that they were going to cut down.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Time for us being outside. But we still get to go to the cafeteria together, and we still get to sit more than 2 feet next to each other. So it really isn't a way for them to work that out in here. But don't worry about me. It's going to be all right. We will speak to you guys soon. Take care of yourselves. Thank you once again for paying attention, and adios.